Hey guys, I know I haven't made a gacha video in a while, but this is something I want to talk about it. Okay, I'm gonna talk about something that's been bothering me for a while now, and I'm gonna try and talk to my teachers and guidance counselor about this. So I have a friend, let's call him Ant, and he's been making me very uncomfortable. Last year, I didn't have an issue with him. We met in freshman year and things were fine until he kinda asked me out. He asked me if I wanted to go to the mall. I said no, and that was in. The next time he asked me if I wanted to get ice cream with him, I said no again, that I didn't have money, and he said he would pay for it. It wasn't pushy, but I wasn't really comfortable hanging out with him outside of school. We weren't like friends, we only talked at school and nothing more. So him asking me out for ice cream, which could be read as a date, no, I said no twice, said I wouldn't have time anyways, and he left it alone. Later that year, I found out he actually asked out two of my friends already. My friend Melina and Willow told me he was kind of weird. To me, I also thought it was weird, but I also thought maybe he was just awkward and was asking to hang out. He was always a pretty awkward person, so I thought maybe he was just trying to make a friend and came off as weird. So I didn't think much of it until this year he got even worse. There was one time on a field trip we passed by my house. Me and him live kind of close to each other, so we went by both of our houses. I didn't tell him what street I lived on, just that I lived close by. However, after that, he literally went on Google Maps and pointed to different streets trying to find which one was mine. And when he found my street, I lied and said no. I laughed it off because we were in class and I didn't want to cause a scene. But I was creeped out. Why are you trying to find where I live? Another weird thing he did was he was very obsessed with trying to find out what my sexuality was, which is not only weird, but it's none of his business. What if it's personal and I'm not ready to come out? To me, it felt like he was trying to know if I was straight or not. But what was really weird was one time we were at meeting for a tutoring-like program at a college. We had to sign some paperwork and stuff. The paperwork had our addresses on it so the program could send us stuff in the mail. When we were done, we went in a circle passing each other's papers back, instead of just giving the papers to the teacher, and decided to look at my paper and find my address. He said, "Oh, so that's where you live." Again, I laughed it off because this is a professional meeting, but I was really creeped again and left quickly after. But the weirdest fucking thing he's done is this. This same program had us come in on Saturday to meet our new teachers and a little pizza party at the end. Me and Ant were eating and talking. I was taking the bus home and he was getting picked up by his dad. He calls his dad and asks if I wanted a ride since we live near each other. I didn't know his dad, so I wasn't really comfortable with that. But then he said that they'll just drop me off near my house or at the McDonald's near my house. To which again, I told him no, and then he gets off the phone and asks again. I told him 3 times the answer is no. And then he tried to say in response to me saying your dad is stranger to me. Well, I'm not a stranger. You know me. No, I don't. We talk to each other at school. We aren't friends like that. We don't hang out after school. I don't know barely anything about your personal life. I didn't even know he spoke Spanish. So he finally dropped it, and instead of waiting in the parking lot for his dad, he followed me to my bus stop. I waited for my bus and he finally left to go to his dad, but I was just so fucking uncomfortable. Yesterday, actually, he asked me if I was mad at him because after a while, I started ignoring him. I finally realized how creepy and how uncomfortable he makes me. I stopped talking to him so much and he didn't respect that either. He always tried to talk to me even though I expressed I wasn't in the mood. It was also just a stressful time for me since I was worried about classes and final exams and stuff. So I was at the program for Saturday classes and he waited for me outside of the door. We had breaks in between these classes, so I sat there and ignored him again. I was already tired and I didn't feel like dealing with him. And that's when he asked if I was mad at him. I told him I'm not mad, I'm just tired and not in mood, which wasn't a lie. I wasn't really thinking about anything right now. I was just tired. But he couldn't even respect that. Instead of giving me space and letting me breathe, he decides to sit in my face the entire break after I told him I'm not in the mood. That's why after that class, I left so quick and got on my bus to avoid him. Later that day, I told my friend about all of this, and she showed me that he was stalking her Instagram page. Then I remembered that he told me he found her account and was looking at a video of me. I didn't think it was weird. I thought he just found it by accident. But the fact he kept liking her posts with him and my friends were never friends is weird as fuck. She barely knew him and didn't even know that account was him at first. It makes me think he was trying to find vids of me. I definitely should have stood way more firm on my boundaries. I should have never laughed it off because now he doesn't see these things as an issue. I can definitely admit some of this is because of my tendencies to let people walk all over me. But it doesn't mean any of this was okay. You should know better at 16 years old than to try and find someone's address even after they said no. You should know better than to look at a paper with someone's private information. You should know better than to ask 3 times for someone to get in a car with you after they said no. None of this shit is okay, and I will be trying to talk to someone about this. I can't do this anymore. He's already known in the school as a weird fuck. Something needs to be done because this is ridiculous. Thanks for listening to me. I love you guys.